yeah, obviously, you know, when you are there, you're going to experience a lot. I wasn't, so I can't exactly talk about my experience there. I think the point is obviously, as you can see, when they go out in the boats, when they go on the farm, the Israelis have to show a certain code of conduct to the West. Okay, that's true with us when we were put in prison. We were arguing a bit. They put a fan in the cell. We were with 10 other prisoners there. It was mainly illegal immigrants, or supposedly illegal immigrants. Very nice, took good care of us in the prison there. But again, because we were there as Westerners, this is why international help is so important. They have this code of conduct. They have this. We can't be seen to be doing this. When we're not there, you can do whatever they want. This is why it's the importance of getting these boats in and everything else, because just one person in the middle of it all can suddenly make, for example, in the West Bank, cars go through checkpoints faster, and I've certainly done that before, and other things like that. So, in terms of us in England, in the UK, I was going to ask people here, in terms of, you know, number one, you know, obviously what people here think about the best course of action, if you know, if the people are considering that, and where we're at in terms of the Middle East, because things have changed slightly. Again, because of, it was impossible for Israel to hide what was going on in the bombings, even with the BBC. And so things have got through to an extent now that is such that there are movements gathering. Even people that were in limbo before have said, no, that's enough now. And to capitalise on that, as far as people and international solidarity goes, there are different tactics to be applied. There's obviously the boycotts, there's obviously lobbying, there's obviously going there yourself, there's just general awareness raising, all this kind of stuff, as well as on a slightly higher level that the Green Left and certainly the Green Party do operate in. What do people here think about this, as far as what it means to be someone operating on social issues as well as on environmental issues in the UK?
Can you take it up?
Right, when I was the international coordinator of the Green Party last year, the office often depends on the person who serves in it, but I was very committed to having a radical, you know, pro-Palestinian policy. So together with several other people from Green Left, we put a motion to Spring Conference last year on divestment and sanctions, which was overwhelmingly supported, something like 1 or 2 votes against. And that's now our current policy. And that policy can only be challenged after 2 years, so it would need to be next spring. But the vitriol that I was subjected to, and various other people were subjected to, first of all, from a small minority within the Green Party. There is a small Zionist minority in the Green Party, one of whose leading members is actually in Liverpool, totally opposed to the boycott and the sanctions. Following the motion, the amount of emails we received at the Green Party from 3 main sources. First of all, some from within the UK. It was a very targeted campaign. It lasted for about 2 months. Many of them were passed on to me to deal with it. I mean, I didn't even bother answering them because I knew that, you know, the sort of thing they do. Some are from within the UK saying, we will never ever vote for you again. Obviously from, you know,
supporters there.
Never voted them. The second type came from the US, obviously from, you know, pro-Israeli, pro-Zionist groups in the US saying the Green Party is a disgrace, and you know, what about human rights? What about our, you know, human rights? You're being anti-Semitic and so on. And the third grouping came from Israel itself. And the usual way they framed it was, we are the greenest country in the Middle East. We produce all these organic vegetables, you know, in the desert and so on. You know, look at what the Arabs are doing. I mean, some of the emails were quite frankly really racist, and some of them were quite shocking. So as I said, you know, they were passed on to me to deal with, and the vast majority didn't bother answering them. But that group within the Green Party, small group, has continued to harass the International Committee, the MEPs and so on, I'm also now the Green Party's delegate to the Stop the War Coalition, so I sit on the steering group of Stop the War. They have consistently argued that Stop the War is an anti-Semitic organisation. They have tried to stop our speakers, our MEPs, for example, speaking on platforms with Stop the War. They tried a few weeks ago, they said that they were going to send a delegation to both the International Committee and the executive of the Green Party to argue about disaffiliation from Stop the War. Andy was on the International Committee, so they never turned up. And I went to the executive to counter their arguments, and they never turned up there either. So, what they do is, and we organised a fringe about this last autumn conference in London, a fringe with Jewish anti-Zionist speakers. It was a very interesting fringe. And one of the speakers there, Tony Greenstein, who's based in Brighton, said the classic tactics of the pro-Zionist movement is intellectual terrorism. They will smear you with allegations of anti-Semitism. You will make any criticism, whatever, of Israel. And this small group within the Green Party, I mean, they're not going to win the argument because they're a very small grouping, but they do make life hell for anyone that takes a very clear anti-Israeli position. Now we've got a motion going to this conference in a month's time in Brighton, which is new policy on Israel and Palestine. I don't see anything in the new policy which is objectionable, although it does continue to support the two-state solution. Now, what I found very interesting, I was a European candidate in London. I'm number 4 on the London list. And during the European election campaign, I attended quite a number of hustings. One of them was a hustings organised by CND and Stop the War, and there were a lot of issues came up there, obviously, on Palestine and so on. But during the course of the hustings, we came across 2 Liberal Democrat candidates. The number 2 on the list, Jonathan Fryer, and the number 4, I think it was the number 4 on the list, who's the chair of the Green Liberal Democrats. Both of them had a very radical pro-Palestinian position. And one of them said at the hustings that the number 1 candidate, who's Baroness Ludford, who's now an MEP again, was a Zionist. And they were actually pushing the Liberal Democrat Party to change its policy towards a one-state solution, which I think is rather interesting. Now, the Green Party hasn't gone that far yet, but I think, as a result of the things you're talking about, I think the whole issue has become much more lively. I would say that one of the big issues for us is what's going to happen with the EU-Israel trade agreement, because the Green Group in the European Parliament has managed to block that.